All right, so today we're going to get into rice tables or ICE tables, where that's an acronym that stands for Reaction Initial Change Equilibrium. So we're given a problem at a certain temperature in 1 liter flask initially contained 0.298 moles of PCl3 and 8.7 times 10 to the negative third. Let me change that to the negative third moles of PCl5 after the system had reached equilibrium. 2 times 10 to the negative third moles of Cl2 was found in the flask. Gaseous PCl5 decomposes according to the reaction. So here's our reaction. So what we do is we set up a table like this, and you're going to have to draw these, where you put your reaction up top, and then under each you have 3 columns, or as many columns as you have products and reactants. And you draw what we said, RICE, or ICE Initial Change Equilibrium. So then we fill out this chart based on the information we're given. So initially it says we have 0.298 moles, and we're in a 1 liter flask. So since it's moles, we could only put molarity in our RICE table. We need to change these to molarity, but since it's a 1 liter flask, our moles are the molarity. So what I'm going to do is I have 0.298 moles or molarity of PCl3. So I'm going to put that here. That's my initial for the PCl3. Then I also know that initially I have 8.7 times 10 to the minus third moles of PCl5. So I'm going to put that here. Okay. Now, it doesn't say anything about our initial for the chlorine. So we assume that it's 0. So we're assuming that we don't have any of the, if it doesn't say anything about it specifically, then we're just going to pretend like it has 0 or doesn't have anything initially. What else does it tell us? It tells us that we have, at equilibrium, it tells us that we have this many moles of the chlorine. So I can put that there. So what do I do from here? Well, I need to figure out what happened. What's the change? Well, I know that when it went from, the chlorine went from 0 to at equilibrium 2 times 10 to the negative third. So it must have, to get from there, from the initial to the equilibrium, I added 2 times 10 to the negative third. So basically what the change is how did I get from the initial to the equilibrium? In this case, I added. Now, how did, whatever happens to this chlorine is also going to happen to PCl3 because they're on the same side as the equation. So I'm going to actually copy this and paste it there, because this is going to be, these two are kind of tied together. Whatever happens to this one is going to happen to this one, and vice versa. If there was a coefficient, like if this was a 2, then it would be double of whatever happened to this. So it'd be like plus 4 times 10 to the negative third. Now, what do we do with this one? Well, this one must have subtracted that same amount, because the reaction went from left to right. Because these added, if these added, this must have subtracted. Okay? So then what you do from here is you do the initial minus, or adding the change here and subtracting the change here. So this would be 6.7 times 10 to the negative third when I subtract those. And then the 0.298 minus plus 2 times 10 to the negative third is 0.3. So 0.3. 00 molar. Okay, so that is how you would fill out your RICE chart. Then from here, here's your equilibrium values. You plug them into your expression, and you would get your value for K.